Why we fight. Why we fight. We've been bringing you this lost castle, lost for over 1,300 years, lost and forgotten, that my family and friends are finding and crawling all over and exploring on Mount Zhao. We're mapping it out pretty well, and I promised you a video on those guardhouses, now shrines. But before that, this might help. A quick word on who we're fighting and why, and then a quick subsequent video on how we're fighting. Our basic strategies and tactics, which change from the coastline, up the foot of the mountain, and on up the mountain. So we suffered a disastrous defeat in Korea at the Battle of Baekgang. What were we doing over there? Well, we were propping up our friends in South Korea against the dastardly North Koreans and their evil Chinese overlords. Yes, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Why were we doing that? Well, there's an evidence of blood relationship and linguistic relationship at that time. Not now, but at that time between the Baekje Koreans and the Yamato Japanese. Apparently these Baekje spoke a language called Peninsular Japonic. So the Japanese were just throwing in with their cousins, as you would do. Here's the Empress Kogyoku to explain it. Empress Kogyoku, also called Saimei. We learn that in ancient times there have been cases of troops being asked for and assistance requested to render help in emergencies and to restore that which has been interrupted is a manifestation of ordinary principles of right. The land of Baekje in its extremity has come to us and placed itself in our hands. Our resolution in this matter is unshakable. We will give separate orders to our generals to advance at the same time by 100 routes. All right, now Empress Kogyoku didn't go with her army. She was near the end of her life, but she took the project very seriously. She moved her capital to the shipyards in northern Kyushu to oversee things personally, and as our main fleet set sail, she wrote us this send-off poem. I was going to wait for the moon to rise before embarking from Nikita Bay, but the tide is up. Go! Row out now. All right, that was very nice. Thank you, Empress Kogyoku. The Japanese lost 400 ships out of 800. Lost half their ships, with who knows how many crewmen and horses aboard. I always feel bad for the animals. Lost 10,000 troops, a quarter of their fighting force. And it went even worse for the Baekje allies. Their movement was wiped out. Exterminated. They went extinct. Nobody speaks Peninsular Japonic anymore. Wikipedia says, the Battle of Baekgang was Japan's greatest defeat in its pre-modern history. Japan's losses were enormous. Japan also lost a key ally on the East Asian continent in Baekje, as well as a direct link to continental technology and culture. Due to the scale and severity of their defeat, the Yamato court, that's the Japanese court, feared an invasion from either or both Tang, China, or Silla North Korea. In response, they built a huge network of shore fortifications throughout the rest of the 600s. Right, so we think this Mount Zhao fortress, mountain castle, was one of those fortifications, and we identify it, following Mr. Toyomoto Kuni, as Ibara Thorny Bush Castle. Unaware of the outbreak of the Silla-Tang War, 670 to 676, the Japanese would continue to build fortifications until 701. After finally finding out that Silla, North Korea, was no longer friends with Tang China, the bad guys went to war with each other, as they always do. So that's who we are theoretically fighting. A combined Chinese-North Korean invasion force. Now, thankfully, the invasion never came. This castle was never fought over, as far as I know. And the huge network of shore fortifications was eventually realized to be unnecessary, redundant, and costly to keep up. And so our castle and its sister castle, Tsune Castle, were both decommissioned in 719. Lost, and then found in 2022. Okay, next I think I'll explain how I would deploy you, my friends. I'm going to deploy you all over our castle and the outer defenses, and then we'll get back to those guardhouse traps, mouse traps, and then up to the megalith. All right, have a great day, man. I love you.